Yo, what chicken guys? Let's talk 50-year mortgage. Now, I know it's Wednesday. Again, I have kind of screwed this up as far as I used to go the Tuesday, Friday. Supposed to be going the Tuesday, Friday, still supposed to be doing that, but situations being what they are, I've got a lot of craziness going on in the world today. Bouncing all over the place. Was in Miami, Salt Lake, was supposed to be in Houston. Thanks to cancellations the day before they reopened the government, I end up having to reroute, come back to Missouri, which doesn't hurt my feelings. Just missing out on an opportunity to have done another podcast. Did a few while I was gone. And then I'll get back out there, right? But interestingly enough, one of those things where just kind of you knew there's nothing wrong with that cancellation. Usually I get frustrated with the cancellation, but this actually is working out really, really well. And it turns out the host ended up with strep. So worked out awesome. Not one that didn't get sick, but that I didn't show up and then I get sick and they get sick the day after. Like, did Aaron bring that? So there'd been a question. Now we know it wasn't Aaron that would have brought it. So I'm very, very happy that it's all worked out, and I understand they're feeling better. So that's a good thing. We're going to be redoing that one here in the near future. Get my butt to Houston, and then get some more conversation going. The thing I love about the podcasts is the different conversation you get to have with different people and their perspective from just a conversational opportunity with somebody who has a different view on life from their experiences. We take two things, right? Relationships and experience. That's it. That's the only things we take with us in this life. So the opportunity to sit and have a live 2-3 hour conversation, I've had those. We've had as many as, the latest ones are really short, under 30 minutes, which is hard for me to do, to get great data out in 30 minutes. But having those conversations with people, getting to know them before the podcast, spend some time, then do the recording. It's awesome. It's invaluable to me. So as far as wealth, I believe I'm creating more wealth than most because of the relationships and experience I have that I get to take with me when this life is done. Money is going to stay here. The relationships and experience live on. And in reality, we talk about eternal existence. We're in eternity right now, guys. You're in it. You're living a certain part of your eternity. So enjoy what you're doing. Find a way to find the best you can about your day. It's not a matter of how much money you made today or how much, what cool things you bought. It's a matter of who did you interact with? What type of interactions did you have? What type of experience did you share with them? And what can you take with you as a result of that? And did you make a friend or did you make an enemy? Add the friends, man. Stack those up. I'd much rather have a shit ton of those than even one enemy. It has no value to create enemies out of anybody. We're all the same stuff, trying to do the same thing, right? So let's get into the 50-year mortgage. I get a lot of people talking about the 50-year mortgage. They want to know, okay, what is the value of that? Is that something that's going to happen? One, I don't know if it's going to happen. It's right now could be just conversation, but let's think about what's trying to be done. So a couple of things being considered right now. They are going to be swapping out Jerome Powell here real soon, right? His tenure is up. They're going to quit quantitative tightening. They're going to stop that, which was where the Fed had tapered back on injecting capital into the market, such as the U.S. Treasuries, into the MBSs, which is the mortgage-backed securities, and then corporate bonds. So they're going to taper that back. They'll stop their tapering back. Let's put it that way, and that means that they could put another chairman in that is open to quantitative easing again. So what does that mean for you? Quantitative easing means more capital going into the U.S. Treasuries, more capital going to MBSs, mortgage-backed securities, and more capital going into potentially corporate bonds. What does that do? That's going to bring interest rates down for those buying houses because of the money going into the mortgage-backed security. That's the only way the Fed has influence over the mortgage-backed security. People think the Fed's going to drop the rates. Why did my rate go down? I've had people digging in, saying I'm going to hold out, even though I've said over and over and over again that is a wrong move. But for some reason, they listen to somebody else, even though they've been listening to me, and went to that person's advice. Sorry, guys, those people don't have the experience I have. They just don't. There's just not very many that have been in the industry as long as I have doing what I do. There's just not in this. They may study some of this crap, but to understand it from the perspective that I have and my team has, there's just not a lot of them left. You've got a lot of guys out there that that put themselves out as a real estate investment lender, but they've been at it since 2015, 18, something like that. I've been at it since 1997, guys. I bought my first investment property in 2001. So just kind of give you guys an idea of where things sit. 2002, sorry. So let's go and take a look at what, or at least discuss what I think is going to happen with that 50-year mortgage. It's a possibility. They put together the 30-year mortgage, the same environment. So now we're going to have this 50. What does that mean for you, the real estate investor? Do you take that 50? Well, one, you're probably going to have a slightly higher interest rate for the 50. You can pay it like a 50, you can pay it like a 30, you can pay it like a 15. I'm going to say if you get a 50, pay that some bitch like a 50. And then there's many saying, oh, that's going to suck. It's such a great, that's for the banks. They're going to make so much money. They're not going to make shit. Think about that. We've got the US dollar. And I will show you again. If this is the first time you've seen this, I'll show you again. I am carrying with me right now this particular item. So I have in my possession, sorry, it's going to take me a second to dig it all out because I wasn't thinking about this until just now. Oh, I've got a 20 in here somewhere. So 5s and 20s got to do a lot of tipping, right? So here's what we've got. This is an 1888. You can see it right along right there. 1888 gold Liberty. This is a 1 ounce gold coin. It's hard to see on the bottom here. It is minted for $20. In 1888, 1 ounce of gold is $20. Now, I hold right here, $20. Which one do we pay our mortgages with? Is it this $20 or is it this $20? It's this one. Now, are these the same? They are not freaking the same. This $20 is definitely not this $20. I can't buy this $20 with this $20. It takes $4,000 to get this sumbitch in just in its weight, not even in the coin itself. The minting has a whole different thing. But in the weight of the gold, it takes a lot more of these to get this. So when you consider that, at one point they were equal, but this kept declining, this gone up. Now, did it really go up? No, it didn't go up in value. This went down in value. That's why it needs more of these to get. So if you have a mortgage company that says, hey, we're going to accept this for $30, you're paying less than what you borrowed. If you don't have the QJO investment tool, you need to get it. Go to your app store and go and find the QJO investment tool. It's going to look like this when you open it up. I can get, it's kind of hard to see. Yeah, sorry, guys. You can't see it. Okay, so go to the mortgage amortization schedule. Let's say you're going to buy a $200,000 property. You're going to put 20% down. You're going to make payments on that puppy of $1,077.95 per month for 360 months. Now, you can't see the calculator. I'm sorry, it sucks. But because you go up in the calendar icon and you're going to fast forward that to 2055, you're going to find that the total payments on that mortgage is going to be $388,061.87. That's a $160,000 loan at a 7.125 interest rate is where I calculated that at. $388,000 you're paying on $160,000. But when you recalculate with what inflation is doing to this, it's $146,000. Guys, can you imagine what's going to be like at 50 years? It's probably going to be at $120,000. $110,000. You borrowed $160, but you're going to pay back in the value of these. Even though there's a lot more of them, the value must stretch out to we're actually giving less because they're declining that much faster. Those who pay off their mortgage early, I get it when you're buying a property to live in, but those who pay off their mortgage early when it comes to an investment property, it's a foolish move. Use the bank's money and stretch out. Take that extra you would have to pay your mortgage down, an extra payment, whatever. Invest it somewhere else where it grows. It doesn't grow in the asset. Money, this is money. It is like a natural resource, like water, right? Things grow up along the rivers. That's where the biggest cities were built back in the day, right? As it's flowing, creates life. But when you pull it up and park it into a single asset, take all that extra money, I'm going to pile it into my house in that little structure and have this free and clear house, then what does it do? It just rots. It's corrosive. It's like a pond. It's not benefiting you. Let it flow. Let it grow. Keep expanding your holdings because you're putting in things that grow that capital. Period. Don't let it sit there especially in investment property. Never. If you want to understand it more, call me. We'll talk about it more. So let's talk about the market, what's going on with the mortgage-backed securities. We do have Fed minutes coming out here in the next bit, and we see what the Fed has to say. But let's talk about what those look like right now. So I have labeled this line here, Fed rate cut, Fed rate cut, Fed rate cut. So each one of these blue lines represents a Fed rate cut, Fed rate cut, Fed rate cut. What happened each time the Fed cut the rates? Those of you who have not been paying attention, who believe that I might have been wrong about this, Fed rate cut, bam, slam. Fed rate cut, another slam. Fed rate cut, another slam. Then we crawl all the way back Nearly a year later, we had the Fed do another rate cut. What did it do? It hit all the way to this bottom. What's very interesting about this, another Fed rate cut. They were both up high when the Fed cut the rate. And where did it go down to? Nearly the same position. They're going back to that same spot. Now we're doing a recovery that had jump up, a little jump up, but not enough to really make a huge difference. Consider what's happening here. We've got the Fed choosing to cut these rates creates a inflationary environment. And with that inflationary environment, what we end up having is those who are investing money into mortgage-backed securities pulling out and repositioning themselves somewhere else. Now, the Fed could come do the quantitative easing, and if they do, we can go back and look what happens with quantitative easing. Depends upon how much quantitative easing. Let's look at this. Let's go zoom this out. So if they do a lot of quantitative easing, we could see these interest rates really push this market could push really high and push those interest rates way low. What I want to warn you with, if you're sitting here holding out saying, hey, let's hold off until the Fed cuts until we do quantitative easing again, and then we'll get involved and buy investment property. Another foolish freaking move, guys. That's going to push the value or price of the housing through the freaking roof. What's interesting, if you take the higher rate today, you're securing the current price. We don't know if they're going to cut the rate. We don't know if as far as the quantitative easing, we don't know if that's going to happen. But if they do, and the rates drop hard, you're going to see the spike in the price of that home that you bought today. So it could be a year, 2 years from now, you see a spike in that home. If you're the type that absolutely has to have the lowest rate, it drives you freaking crazy that somebody else has a lower rate than you, then you can use the equity in the house to pay for the refinance to get the lower rate, and it costs you nothing out of your pocket. But if you wait now to buy a more expensive home so you can get that better rate because you've been conditioned by the banks, they have wired you to think that's the way to go about it, and you wait like that, you're going to pay more to get the lower rate. Get that? You'll pay more for the property to get the lower rate instead of using the value of the property to buy the lower rate. Better to buy it now. So if you're trying to figure out when do you get it, repeat after me, now. And before you do that, you ought to contact us, info@aaronchapman.com, so we can get you set up, get your qualifying done, talk about how to structure your entities. If you want to use the DSCR product, there's a way to lay a solid foundation to put you in a position where you can grow this thing fast and grow it awesome and protect yourself. There's a lot of ways to protect yourself. So when I come back around, next time we talk, I'm going to show you something really kick-ass on protection. Way to protect your family. Remember old Sally Struthers used to say for 99 cents, less than $1 a day, you can save a child. I'm going to show you how for less than 99 cents a day, you can protect your children and protect yourself and protect the assets you built and show them where it's all at. Because there's nothing worse than building this empire and then something happens to you and they have no idea how to get into it and know where anything is at, and it all just rots. Appreciate you guys. I will talk to you guys Friday. Yeah, let's shoot for Friday.